What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some of the data points, what is moving it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound is up 3.85%, 1148 the high, 1093 the low. So we are seeing a lot of volatility, but that's because of the lower volume. So right now, about 19 million shares being traded. And I think there's some level of hesitation that's in the broader market. So I'll break that down for you in a second. But starting off with macro data, we did have manufacturing. So month over month, it came in at 0.2 versus a forecast of 0.1. Kind of matching with the manufacturing. So the Philly and the New York manufacturing data from yesterday was on point. So things are really good behind the scenes. The year over year came in flat at 2%. Aside from that, a couple of Fed speakers, but nothing really of significance that was really brought up. One thing that was looming over the broader market that most likely was going to prompt a sell-off was geopolitical issues associated to Iran. And I don't know why, but I see some posts saying that Trump likes to do things on Friday, likes to start attacks and whatever else. So I think overall today there was going to be a certain level of a pullback, but conveniently Trump did say this, and he ultimately convinced himself to hold off on any Iran strikes. So kind of still signals that it's on his radar, but for the most part, market is taking this and the data that came out today and yesterday as a very strong positive and justified reason to really move things higher. Associated to SoundHound, there really hasn't been that much in news. Last news came out on January the 6th, no SEC filings since my last video. There was one thing that was posted on social media, just saying that SoundHound is excited to be recognized as part of the broader intelligent transformation trend powered by agentic AI. So I think it is fair to assume that CES this year was a very big success for SoundHound. It prompted a lot of new analyst ratings and so forth. So other than this, it's just piggybacking off of the broader market. When it comes to analyst ratings, since my last video, we did get a new buy $26 price target by H.C. Wainwright. Scott, who has a 35% success rating, so not that great. Over the last 3 months, 1660 is that consensus for the analyst ratings, and that does represent a 46.26% upside. If you do want access to all of this, take a look at IBKR, link in the description below and also the comments. But aside from that, there was some amendments to some estimates as well, even though Q4 earnings has not been announced just yet for the date. Most likely they'll announce it next week on a side note, but there wasn't any changes to the earnings per share, but analysts are becoming a little bit more optimistic for the revenue. So it went from about 53.7 to 54.6 to now 54.8 million. So pretty good stuff for that. That's a nice growth from last quarters of 42.05. So definitely good things are going to be coming for SoundHound. And based on just this, you can kind of see that 2026, there is break even anticipated, if not potentially profitability. So big things again are going to be coming for SoundHound, and when it comes down to profitability, that is always a natural deterrent against shorts. Right now, shorts are returning 311,000 shares. 29.5% of the free float is being shorted. Works it to be 112.2 million shares overall are being shorted. DTC has been really inching higher, but that's because of the lower volume. But still, 4.1 days does signal that shorts are very, very overextended. So it is good to see us finally breaking off of that 30%. We've been at the 30+% for quite some time. So we have not been this low since all the way back January 2025. So this is a good sign, definitely starting off 2026 in the right mark. Aside from that, though, looking at the options, we are seeing about 3.8 million in calls, 1.1 in puts. 45% of all the options being done are bearish in nature, but most of that was done in the first half of the trading day when it was having those crazy swings. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be above 12 and recover from that going into the next couple of weeks. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 11. With today being Friday, though, just take note of this. So you do have 11,000 at the $10 strike price, 1,000 at the 10.50, 8,000 at the 11, 7,000 at the 11.50. So for whatever reason, if SoundHound is able to close above 1150, then you could see a nice little gamma squeeze potentially, nice little pop going into next week. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market. So you do see occasional sell, but most of this, anything with a ask is a buy. So most of this is actually buying. So institutions are loading the boat, which is always a positive thing. These are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool. So since shorts are doing roughly around 300,000, give or take, it is fair to assume that most of this is actually linked to hedge funds. Aside from that, with it right now at 1131, it is right below this pivot. So 1153 is going to be the next strong target. Kind of bounced off of that general range. So 1148 was the high. So just watch for in the next couple of trading days 1153. But aside from all of that, on the actual chart itself, there really hasn't been that much in articles on a side note, but it is, as of right now, above that 10-day moving average, signaling that it's starting to build up a little bit of momentum. One very big thing for SoundHound is going to be that 50-day moving average. Kind of had that death cross recently that did happen on January the 9th, but of course, not every technical indicator comes to fruition. That might have been one reason why it did get suppressed over the last previous days. But if it is, for whatever reason, able to get over that 50-day moving average, then you could see some pretty nice price action. Last time it did actually break above that 50-day moving average was right here, August the 5th, 2025, when it had that massive rally, and it didn't actually break since November the 3rd. So in the next couple of trading days, just watch for that 50-day moving average. That's going to be most likely the next very big catalyst based on the technicals, of course. And then I do feel SoundHound's earnings in among itself, that'll be a pretty good catalyst. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. So big things are definitely coming down the pipeline. Give yourself a shout out if you are buying, if you're selling. I do have one option expiring this week. I was actually hoping that it was going to stay a little bit lower. That way I could buy more stock, because I constantly sell puts. I know I've mentioned that in the past, because if you do like a stock and you are going to be buying it regardless, just consider selling puts. Definitely very advantageous. But yeah, that's one thing that most likely will be expiring worthless. I did sell a 1050 and also 11. So yeah, looks like I'll be getting some free money for that, but I'll maybe just roll it over to next week. Aside from that, on a side note, looking at market position, you see a lot more willing buyers. So that's, again, another thing to keep in mind. But with all that, appreciate all of you watching. Hopefully everyone has a good weekend. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.